Imagine this scenario. You have spent, I don't know, the last 5 years just bleeding over a multi-million-dollar e-commerce brand.
Oh, yeah, just pouring everything into it.
Exactly. You have like 1 million rabid followers on TikTok. Your online customer acquisition costs are somehow still profitable, and you finally land the holy grail of physical commerce.
The massive purchase order?
Yes, a huge purchase order from a major national retailer. You ship the pallets out to their distribution centers, you pop the champagne, and you basically just wait for the yacht money to roll in.
Right, because you've made it.
But then, 3 months later, your highly premium product is unceremoniously dumped into a clearance bin. Your displays are totally wrecked, and the retailer just completely kicks you out of the store. Like, what just happened?
It is honestly the most common, yet somehow least talked about horror story in modern retail right now.
It's crazy.
It really is. We're watching the internet's absolute most successful, incredibly data-savvy brands completely collapse the second they step foot into the physical world. And the reason isn't that their product is bad. It's because the muscular system you need to survive on a physical shelf is just fundamentally completely different from the one you need to thrive online.
And that is exactly the mystery we are unpacking for you today. We are pulling from this really incredible piece of source material by Johann Jacob.
Yeah, he's the president and founder of Retailbound.
Right. And Retailbound is a consultancy that actually scales brands across, I think, more than 150 different retailers in the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, they really know the physical space.
They do. So his article is titled, "Retail is Not Just a Sales Channel, Why Brands Fail in Retail and How to Win." Our mission for this deep dive is to decode this catastrophic disconnect that brands face when they move from digital to physical and really uncover the actual boots-on-the-ground playbook for surviving the retail ecosystem.
Because it is brutal out there.
It really is. Okay, let's unpack this, because Jacob points out this massive psychological trap that founders fall into, which is basically treating the physical store like a passive extension of their website.
Yeah, they absolutely fall victim to this this set it and forget it delusion. I mean, for a decade, the direct-to-consumer or DTC gold rush basically trained entrepreneurs to think purely in terms of digital funnels.
Right. Build the site, run the ads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Build the Shopify site, you run the hyper-targeted ads, you control all the data, and you just ship boxes from a warehouse. So when they finally get that physical retail purchase order, they apply that exact same logic.
They think the job is done.
Yes. They think, well, the inventory is physically inside the building, therefore my job is done. The store will just organically sell it for me.
It's essentially like treating a physical brick-and-mortar store the exact same way you treat an Amazon Web Services server.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. You just sort of upload your physical product to an aisle somewhere, assuming the ambient foot traffic will magically convert into revenue.
Just waiting for the clicks.
Yeah, it completely ignoring the chaotic reality of a real physical space. I mean, you cannot just upload a file in the real world and walk away.
Yeah. That server analogy captures the arrogance perfectly, honestly. Because think about the absolute control you have in an e-commerce environment.
You control everything.
Literally everything. You dictate the exact lighting of the product photography. You control the specific order in which the customer reads the information. You curate the 5-star reviews they see right beneath the buy button.
You own the narrative.
You own that customer's entire psychological journey from the very first click all the way to the checkout cart. But physical retail, it is a completely shared, highly volatile environment.
The messy.
So messy. You do not control the overhead fluorescent lighting. You don't control the layout of the aisles.
Right.
You cannot control the unpredictable mood of a shopper rushing through a store with, like, a screaming toddler.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And you absolutely do not control the aggressive promotions your competitors might be running literally 3 inches to the left of your product.
It's wild. And if brands are treating the store like a giant physical server, they are completely blind to how a human being actually behaves in that physical space.
Oh, exactly.
The source points out that the psychology of time just changes entirely. Like, online, time is super expansive. A customer might open, I don't know, 6 different tabs.
Oh, easily.
They'll read a long-form blog post about your supply chain, watch a 10-minute unboxing video on YouTube, and then just leave the item sitting in their digital cart for 3 days before they finally pull the trigger.
But when that exact same human walks into a physical store, time shrinks dramatically.
Yeah.
They are pushing a cart down an aisle at a steady walking pace. They are making snap decisions in a matter of seconds based on side-by-side, real-time comparisons.
Just scanning the shelves.
Exactly. If your product does not instantly broadcast its core value proposition to someone moving at a normal walking speed, it is going to be entirely overlooked. The context of the environment dictates the behavior.
Oh, wait, let me push back on this a bit.
Sure, go ahead.
So, if a brand has spent years building up this massive online presence, let's say they have a huge, incredibly loyal community and all this viral momentum on TikTok or whatever, shouldn't that digital halo effect just carry over automatically? Like, shouldn't the customer walk into the store already knowing exactly what they want, actively hunting for that specific brand?
See, what's fascinating here is how quickly the digital armor a product wears online just simply vanishes in a physical store.
Really, it just vanishes.
It really does. Yes, brand awareness gets them in the door. But let's look at the behavioral psychology of physical proximity.
Okay.
Online, your product is protected by all those highly curated lifestyle videos and thousands of glowing comments. On a physical shelf, the product is naked.
Just sitting there.
Just sitting there in cardboard. And proximity is one of the most powerful forces in human decision-making. A shopper might walk in with the vague intention of buying your famous internet brand.
Right, they saw it on Instagram.
But when they are standing physically in the aisle, actually holding your product in one hand, and your competitor's product is sitting right there, looking slightly more premium, with maybe clearer packaging.
Oh, I see where this is going.
And maybe it's $2 cheaper. That physical proximity to a better presented alternative very often shatters that digital loyalty right on the spot.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. The tangible reality basically overrides the digital memory.
It does, every time.
And Jacob brings up another fascinating dynamic in the article that he calls the third shelf.
Yes, this is crucial.
We get so obsessed with shelf placement and graphic design and packaging that we forget a bored teenager in a blue polo has way more conversion power over your customer than your $100,000 digital ad campaign.
The retail sales staff. They are the ultimate wild card that simply does not exist on a Shopify site.
Totally.
In specialized retail, whether we're talking consumer electronics, high-end cosmetics, outdoor gear shoppers actively seek human reassurance.
They want an expert's opinion.
Exactly. And if the staff at that specific store does not understand your product, or honestly, if they just personally prefer a competitor's item, they will actively steer your customer away from you.
Just walk them right over to the other brand.
Yep. Your sales will totally flatline, and you won't even have an analytics dashboard to tell you why.
So this passive arrogance, this absolute reliance on your digital armor, it translates directly into catastrophic execution failures right on the floor.
Big time.
Jacob outlines how these failures actually erode the brand trust you spent millions building. Take what he calls the invisible product problem.
Oh, this happens constantly.
Right, so if your packaging relies on the consumer already knowing your whole brand story from, like, a podcast ad.
Or an influencer.
Yeah, an influencer.
Yeah.
And it doesn't clearly state what the product actually does right on the front of the box, it effectively becomes invisible.
Because there is no scroll bar on a cardboard box.
Exactly.
If the packaging isn't doing the heavy lifting of acting as a silent salesperson, the product literally just blends into the visual noise of the aisle.
Then there is the pricing disconnect, specifically regarding MAP, or minimum advertised price policies. But actually, I have a question about this. Jacob argues that lacking a MIP policy is an absolute nightmare for premium brands. But isn't a discount inherently good for a newer brand trying to gain market share?
You'd think so, right?
Yeah, I mean, if a major retailer puts your item on clearance, doesn't that just get it into way more hands and build your overall user base?
That is a very dangerous short-term perspective that completely ruins brands in the long run.
Really? How so?
Let's look at the actual mechanics of brand erosion. Let's say you sell a premium skincare serum online for $100.
Okay, $100.
Your digital customers happily pay that $100 because you've successfully built this perception of high-end, exclusive value.
Right.
Now, you go into physical retail without a strict pricing agreement. The retailer decides, hey, we really need to drive foot traffic this weekend.
Oh, no.
So they use your premium serum as a loss leader. They aggressively discount it all the way down to $40.
So the retailer takes the massive hit on the margin just to get bodies in the door.
Yes, but you take the hit on your reputation. The customer who paid $100 on your website yesterday feels completely cheated.
Well, they'd be furious.
Exactly. And the broader public who is seeing your brand for the very first time in that aisle now anchors your value at $40.
Right, to them it's just a cheap product.
You are no longer a luxury skincare line. You are a discount bargain bin item. You might see a massive spike in sales volume for that one weekend, but you have permanently destroyed your premium positioning.
Wow.
Customer trust evaporates, and trying to climb back up to that luxury price point, it's nearly impossible.
It really is a ruthless ecosystem. But honestly, the most striking failure detailed in the source is the ghost brand effect.
That is the big one.
This happens when a brand moves heaven and earth to get the retail account. They secure the purchase order, they ship out the pallets, and then they just vanish from the face of the earth.
Poof. Gone. No check-ins with the store managers, no support for the merchandising displays, zero educational materials for those crucial sales associates we just talked about.
They just ghost.
They completely abandon the physical space.
I was actually thinking about this, and it's exactly like finally getting off the wait list for an incredibly exclusive, highly sought-after gem.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Right. You pay the massive initiation fee, you get the shiny little key tag, you take a selfie outside for Instagram, and then you never actually show up to lift a single weight.
Never step foot inside again.
And yet somehow you are standing in front of the mirror a year later, completely shocked that your muscles are atrophying.
Because you confused access with execution.
Yes.
You assumed being on the official roster was the exact same thing as actually doing the work. In a retail environment, operating as a ghost brand guarantees that your displays will get broken and never fixed.
Your inventory gets shoved in the back.
Exactly. Shoved to the bottom shelf right behind a pillar, and the staff will completely ignore you. You are paying for the premium gym membership, but you are actively losing muscle mass every single day.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
Let's hear it.
If operating passively turns you into a bleeding ghost brand, how do the survivors actually pivot? Jacob makes it very clear that the brands who win don't just, tweak their daily operation.
Yeah, it's bigger than that.
They undergo a complete paradigm shift regarding what a physical store actually represents in the first place.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, they stop viewing the store merely as a point of transaction. The winning mindset recognizes that physical retail is actually an immersive brand experience. They literally treat shelf space as premium marketing real estate.
See, that concept completely reframed things for me.
It's huge.
Because we are so heavily conditioned to think of Instagram or Google or TikTok as our marketing real estate, right? And the store is just the checkout counter where the transaction finally clears.
Exactly, just the cash register.
But if you flip that, your physical packaging is actually your billboard.
Yeah.
Your placement on the shelves is your search engine visibility. Your physical end cap display is your actual brand storytelling.
And when you start treating the store as a marketing channel, it fundamentally changes how you allocate your budget and your entire corporate strategy.
It has to.
Because physical retail offers something that digital ads simply cannot buy anymore, which is borrowed credibility.
Borrowed credibility. I love that.
Consumers are exhausted, and they're highly skeptical of digital ads right now. Literally any person with a laptop can spin up a dropshipping store and run a targeted ad.
Yeah, overnight.
But if your product is sitting on the shelf at a trusted, highly curated national retailer, the consumer implicitly trusts that the retailer's buyers have rigorously vetted you. You absorb the retailer's institutional trust.
And beyond just the credibility, there is the sheer sensory power of it all. I mean, e-commerce will never, ever be able to replicate the tactile reality of the physical world.
Never.
A retail store offers a sensory experience that totally bypasses all of our built-in digital skepticism. You can physically pick the product up.
You can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel the weight and the build quality in your hands.
Yeah.
You can test the hinge on a piece of hardware or smell the fragrance of a candle.
Experiencing that quality firsthand dramatically accelerates buyer confidence.
Absolutely.
It is the psychological difference between reading a carefully worded description about the texture of a luxury fabric online.
Which could be totally faked.
Right, and actually running your own fingers over it in real life.
Right.
The sensory input closes the sale way faster than any digital funnel ever could.
So we understand the paradigm shift.
Yeah.
We know we absolutely cannot be a ghost brand.
Yep.
And we know we must treat the physical shelf as a high-stakes sensory marketing campaign.
Right.
Now, how do we actually operationalize this? The source maps out a highly specific 4-step omni-channel playbook to survive this environment. And the mechanism to fix all this actually starts before the product even leaves the warehouse.
It starts with the box itself,
Yes.
designing for the shelf. As we established earlier, the shopper is moving fast. The rule Jacob provides is that your product must sell itself in 3 seconds or less.
3 seconds.
It's fast, it requires incredibly bold visual hierarchy, and an aggressively simple value proposition.
He calls it the 5-foot rule, which I think is a brilliant stress test.
It really is.
Basically, can a shopper understand exactly what your product is and why they desperately need it from 5 feet away? Because if a potential buyer has to stop their cart, physically pick up your box, turn it around, and read a tiny paragraph of text on the back just to figure out what the item does, you have already lost.
They won't even break their stride.
Exactly. A great box punches through the visual noise of the aisle instantly.
But a great box doesn't matter if you are actively fighting your own retail partners. Which brings us to the second mechanism, building a true omnichannel strategy.
Right.
Historically, digital-first brands viewed retail and e-commerce as 2 completely warring factions inside their own company.
Fighting over credit.
Exactly. They felt that if they sent a customer to a physical store, they were somehow losing out on the higher profit margin of a direct website sale.
Okay, so wait. If the shelf is doing all this incredible marketing for us, does that mean we just abandon the website? Do we just turn off the digital ads entirely?
Not at all. They have to feed each other. A true omnichannel approach recognizes that modern customers demand options. You must actively promote your physical retail availability on your digital channels.
Got it.
You have to tell your massive online audience exactly which local stores carry your product.
Jacob specifically points to BOPIs, buy online, pick up in store, as a critical tool here.
BOPIS is the absolute perfect bridge. When you push your digital audience to use BOPS at your retail partner store, you create this massive positive feedback loop.
How so?
You drive foot traffic directly into the retailer's building. The retailer sees your sell-through rates skyrocketing, which makes their buyers incredibly happy.
Oh, and then they buy more.
Yes. Because they are happy, they place larger purchase orders, and suddenly they are offering you premium placement on end caps instead of burying you on the bottom shelf. You support them, and they reward you with visibility.
But who is actually managing all of this on the ground? I mean, you can't run a positive feedback loop from a laptop in a coffee shop in Brooklyn.
No, you definitely can't. That requires the third piece of the playbook, field marketing.
Field marketing.
This is the absolute antidote to the ghost brand effect. You must have actual physical human beings showing up in these stores. Field marketing teams conduct regular, rigorous store visits.
What are they actually doing when they visit?
They ensure the displays aren't broken. They make sure the inventory is actually out on the floor and not just sitting in the back room.
Which happens a lot.
All the time.
Yeah.
And most importantly, they build real relationships.
Which goes back to that third shelf concept. But honestly, why does a handshake with a store manager actually matter to the bottom line?
Because retail is fundamentally a relationship business at the floor level. Store managers often have a surprising amount of discretionary power over where things are placed.
No, really.
Oh, yeah. If your field rep comes in, brings them a coffee, fixes a broken display, and takes 10 minutes to casually educate the staff on your new features, that manager is infinitely more likely to move your product to a high-visibility area.
That makes total sense.
If you are not in the building advocating for your physical space, I guarantee your competitors are absolutely taking it from you.
Wow. Okay, so we're building relationships. But how do we measure the success of all this without the comfort of our Google Analytics dashboards? Because we are so used to tracking every single click and conversion rate online.
That is the final mechanism, leveraging retail data. It goes far, far beyond just looking at top-line sales figures at the end of the month.
Okay.
Retailers provide massive insights if you actually know how to analyze them. For example, analyzing basket behavior.
What does that actually look like in practice?
It basically means looking at the data to see what else the consumer is buying at the exact same time they buy your product.
Oh, interesting.
Right. Let's say you sell a premium brand of whole bean coffee. If your basket analysis shows that, say, 60% of people who buy your coffee also buy a specific premium brand of oat milk.
That is highly actionable intelligence.
Well, exactly. You can now approach the store manager and suggest a cross-promotional display where your coffee is placed right next to the oat milk fridge.
That's brilliant.
You are using real-world purchasing habits to engineer higher visibility and drive impulse buys. You can also analyze regional performance data. Maybe your product completely crushes it in the Pacific Northwest, but stagnates in the South, which tells you exactly where you need to deploy your field marketing reps.
So what does this all mean when we put the pieces together?
Yeah.
You've got designing for the 5-foot rule, driving omnichannel synergy, deploying field marketers to shake hands, and dissecting basket data. There is a deeply sobering reality woven through Johann Jacob's entire piece here.
There really is.
Getting the purchase order from a major retailer is not the finish line. It is not the moment you pop the champagne. It is literally day one of the actual job.
It is just the starting line. If a brand celebrates the purchase order and fails to actively execute this physical playbook, the consequences are swift and they are brutal. Retailers operate on razor-thin margins. They do not have the patience or the physical space for products that just sit there collecting dust. The data shows that brands neglecting this active management are routinely delisted and kicked out of stores within a matter of months.
It is an entirely ruthless environment, but a deeply rewarding one if you respect the rules of physical gravity. And bring this directly back to you, listening right now.
Yeah.
Whether you are an ambitious founder prepping your first pitch to a major buyer, a digital marketer pulling your hair out trying to figure out why your online ads aren't converting anymore, or honestly, even if you are just a curious consumer running errands this weekend, this deep dive fundamentally changes how you will look at a store aisle.
It completely lifts the veil. The next time you walk into a grocery store or a big box retailer, you won't just see cardboard boxes on metal shelves anymore.
Never again.
You will see the underlying strategy playing out in real time.
You will spot it instantly. Like you'll walk down an aisle and easily identify the ghost brands. You'll see their dusty, confusing packaging pushed to the back of the bottom shelf, completely abandoned by their founders. And then you'll see the winners. You'll see the products whose packaging is actively shouting its value to you from 5 feet away, where the displays are immaculate and where the product just inherently feels trustworthy before you even pick it up.
The ultimate takeaway from Retailbound's analysis is so clear. Brick-and-mortar retail remains one of the absolute most powerful engines for brand discovery and scalable, profitable growth.
Yes.
But it only functions as a growth engine if you stop treating it as a digital dumping ground for inventory and start treating it as a vital, strategic, and highly active extension of your brand experience.
It all comes down to physical trust. Which leaves me with a final provocative thought for you to mull over.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've spent this entire time dissecting how physical retail provides this unparalleled sensory trust and borrowed credibility that a digital ad simply cannot replicate.
Right.
As the internet becomes even more saturated, increasingly driven by endless AI-generated content, and frankly, just more exhausting for everyday people to navigate.
Oh, it's exhausting.
Right. Could we be rapidly approaching a tipping point? Could we reach a future where consumers instinctively distrust a brand unless it has a physical footprint?
Wow. That is a profound shift in consumer psychology. We may already be entering an era where existing purely online is actually seen as a liability rather than an asset.
Exactly. We might be heading toward a reality where being on a physical shelf isn't just a clever strategy for incremental growth. It becomes an absolute non-negotiable requirement just to prove your brand is legitimate in the first place.
Yeah.
You can't just upload a file to a server anymore and expect people to believe in you.
Yeah.
You might actually have to show up in the real world in 3 dimensions to prove you even exist.